Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
For multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
Go, go, go. We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. Okay, episode 116. Welcome to the Operator. I am your host, Robert J. O'Neill, former Navy SEAL, and you run operators just for listening. Actually, not just for listening. You're an operator if you're doing stuff. That's what we always say. If you're doing stuff, you're operating. And when I say stuff, it can be anything, too. We did a Veterans Day podcast last week. If you haven't heard it, it's still up there. Just basically some stories I remember of some old guys. Some with us, some not with us anymore, but still some good stories. Not going to tell necessarily too many stories today unless one pops up. There's stuff going on out there that you should be made aware of. American-made missiles being launched into Russia, which they consider an act of war, and recently have signed a pact that authorizes them to use their nuclear weapons. And I said nuclear weapons, which is bad, if certain things happen, and certain things have just happened. And I question why we decided to, why this administration decided to launch American-made missiles into Russia when there's only a few weeks left of the presidency. Is it because they love their country or they love Ukraine? Is it because they want complete chaos, which they've been pretty good at the past 4 years, but they want it worse do they want to start a nuclear war? That'd be bad. That would end everything if a nuclear war started. Russia's talking about low-yield nuclear weapons, tactical nuclear weapons, but nuclear is nuclear, and that's bad, and that will wipe out a lot of people. If the thought is, not usually, because we're the only country that's ever used them, but the thought is every war game that's ever been, every nuclear war game that's ever been played ended the same, with complete global annihilation. That's not going to be good, and we're going to get, I don't want to be morbid right off the bat here, because it's going to be a great day, hopefully. It should be, it can be, but depending on what goes down. Yeah, it is shady. Not a lot of media is covering it, which might be a good thing, too. If people realize how close we are to bad stuff, I think they would change their minds. Everything seems to be political for some people, no matter what one side does. Their party's going to agree with them, or at least say they agree with them, just so they can maintain their power. So we'll break that down a little bit later. Lighter stuff. The UFC fight was pretty cool. Trump and his cabinet went in there. He got the belt. That was pretty cool to see. I liked watching him because the UFC crowds are just really, really loud, and they're just full of great people. It's fun to hear the noise. I didn't stay up for the entire fight, so I did miss the main event, but obviously it's all over social media. I did see that. The Tyson fight, Jake Paul Tyson fight, that happened. I don't think Tyson was quite 100%. It looked like his knee was giving him a little trouble. 58 years old, fighting a young dude. I saw a funny meme that said, because they were talking about Mike Tyson being old. And I'm not fighting Mike Tyson. But they said the next fight with Jake Paul, they're going to pay him $20 million to push George Foreman down the stairs, which is kind of funny. But the one thing that caught my attention that was pretty amusing is, I don't know if most people don't watch MSNBC, but there's a show on it called Morning Joe. Joe Scarborough and Mika are on it, and they bash Republicans all the time, and I don't know how many times they've called Trump a literal Nazi. A Nazi, and his followers are white supremacists, and they just despise Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump obviously wins in a landslide. So Joe Scarborough and Mika go down to Mar-a-Lago to meet with them, and they got back on air and said, now, something along the lines of, we disagree on a lot of issues, but we want to get the conversation going again, which I think is complete nonsense because all they want is ratings, and they're not getting ratings right now because everyone's kind of over the extreme left, the extreme positions on everything, and they're losing the audience. If you look at a map of the counties that went red and blue, you can kind of tell most of the country does not agree with a lot of stuff that especially people on MSNBC would say. So they went down there and they made it sound like they had a good face-to-face meeting, a summit or whatever. They're not going to talk Donald Trump into anything. They just they potentially might want to get him on the air because the ratings will go up. And that's that. I guarantee you it wasn't. I don't guarantee it because I wasn't there. But my thoughts are that wasn't Joe and Mika's idea. And it was probably talked about. It was more at the corporate level, like you're going to meet with Trump because we're getting our butts kicked. But they went down there, and I bring it up because I wasn't there either, but and I don't know what was said. But I did read this, and I'm reading it now because if you didn't see it, you'll hear it now. Donald Trump on his platform Truth Social said, "This morning, Morning Joe and Mika, who owe their careers to me, went on their show and claimed to have met with me. They made it sound like we had a summit. The truth is, Joe begged to meet with me after our big win, and when I finally agreed, he approached me like a scolded dog. He should consider himself lucky I didn't have him thrown out of beautiful Mar-a-Lago." Mika was charming as usual. Mika was charming as usual. I love the way he ended that. That's pretty funny, just the way he got on there to scold the dog, too. I mean, it is almost like they know Papa Trump's in town, and he's about to be back. We'll get into theories on the medium-range missiles in a second here, but is he going to be in office, or are they just going to start a big war and declare something else? So we will see. But I want to bring up, I need to talk about my sponsor for the show, Mando. I've talked about Mando before, and this stuff is dynamite. What it does for you, all over body deodorant and soap and the spray deodorant that Mando has. I gotta show you this. I sprayed this on the other day. This deodorant's for anywhere on your body, anywhere you can think of that you stink, and it's probably. I mean, but my wife came in the room after I use this. I normally use the Mount Fuji stuff, but this is bourbon leather, and she asked if I sprayed freshener in the room. That was just deodorant. She said how nice it was smelling, and that's pretty funny. So, I mean, my question is, are you a stinky little fobbit? You know, fobbit is the guy that doesn't leave the base. Because if you are a stinky fobbit, Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando deodorant products options: solid stick, formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. So it's stopping your stinky little butt before it starts. The spray deodorant is aluminum-free and ideal for hard-to-reach places. Plus, like I added, it makes the whole room smell nice. The smell of the smooth, solid Mount Fuji deodorant immediately caught my wife's attention. This is my favorite one. She told me to wear only that when she's not around. She loves the way that stuff smells. Now she loves that I'm using the spray, how the room smells. And now that I've used Mando, I'm not going to use anything else. It's a scent of confidence, and I do not need to embellish on what the benefits are. I love the smell and the feel. They got these wipes, these deodorant wipes. Even if you only take a Ranger shower, which is, you don't shower, you just kind of wipe out the grundle. These Mando wipes are awesome. Get some of those for your stinky butt. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products that you can pick. Body wash and then the deodorant wipes is the ones I picked. And free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack. Use code The Operator and shop at the website is shopmando.com. 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 Code The Operator. Save 40%. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. So it is shopmando.com, code the operator. Smell fresh, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Anywhere in between two, it's safe everywhere. Shopmando.com, code the operator. Get rid of the stank. But yeah, the Veterans Day podcast I thought was really good. Go check it out if you haven't heard it yet or watched it yet on the YouTube, but it should be there. I released it when I was in Turks and Caicos. I was actually in Turks and Caicos for Veterans Day this year, which was very cool. Very chill island down there. Took the baby. Got her in the ocean a few times. The waves in Turks and Caicos are a little bit loud. They're not huge, but they break on right off the beach, and they were loud. And Valor didn't care for that, but she did a good job in the pool, so I was able to get her in the pool, trying to teach her how to swim because I think that's very important to do that. And I'm going on the road again, a couple different places, heading south again, south of the border, to an undisclosed location for something. Should be fun, though. I'll post about it. No, I'm not going back to do Ibogaine right now. That's probably going to be a part of my journey for as long as my journey lasts. But, yeah, travel a little bit, hopefully make it up to Montana. Again, love to get around the country. It's good. Let me know in the comments what you're going to be doing because Thanksgiving is coming up when we give thanks. That's going to be fun too because we also get to hear what a horrible country we are, and that the Thanksgiving dinner is also white supremacy. And it is funny to hear the political arguments they always talk about the dinner table comments, but Thanksgiving is the worst because, like, you get your drunk conservative uncle who comes in rapping and he's just going to be wearing the MAGA stuff, and then your aunt who's extremely liberal and they're not going to talk or they won't even show up, something like that. But it's going to be fun. Let me know where you're going to do yours. I think I'm going to do mine in Montana. It will be fun to do that. But speaking of traveling, President Biden went down to South America, into Lima, Peru, and they had the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Conference. APEC is the acronym for that. And essentially they get together, global leaders, people who are in charge of different countries around the globe, and they jibber-jabber and they give speeches and stuff. And this one was kind of depressing to watch. I didn't watch much of it. I caught the highlights on SportsCenter. But there was a couple videos of I gotta add this. Joe Biden is still the president of the United States. Not sure if you know that. He was down there. He got lost a couple times. There's he and a couple other people, like, they were doing something outside, and he wandered off into the woods. And I think, like, Trudeau went with him and someone else, and they're in the woods or some weird shit. I'm not sure what the hell was going on. But they have conferences like this. People get together. But the thing that stuck out to me is they do the APEC family photo, where they got on those goofy ass scarves, big brown scarves, I think they are, and they wear, I don't know what the hell else they're wearing, but the president of the United States is always in the middle, every time. Even last year, 2023, down there, Grandpa Joe Biden was in the front row. This time, however, he was not. He was in the back, like the back right, because APEC is saying, well, this time we just did it in alphabetical order by country. Oh, that's a coincidence. United States is going to be in the back corner. That's pretty cool. This is the first time they've ever done it in alphabetical order, but that's what they did. And then Biden's back there next to Vietnam, which is kind of weird when you think about that too. But because it's just coincidence, isn't it, that they go in alphabetical order? Who does that put right in front? China. So President Xi's over there, front row center, right next to the president of Peru, I guess. That's just because they hosted it, they said, but the president of the United States always goes in front. It's showing the what the world stage thinks of this administration and this country right now. They think we're weak and there's no respect. There's certainly no deterrence, and we see in the world right now that they've got about 60 days to raise hell, and stuff is going on around the world too. And if sometimes you gotta know where to look, because a lot of the headlines don't push the narrative that the media wants you to have. But just that sign, and the disrespect started with the Afghan withdrawal. We all know what happened there. how we ditched our allies and kind of left in the middle of the night, and left a lot of Americans over there. That was one of them, obviously, and then President Biden's debate. And these world leaders have been they haven't necessarily been lied to the way we have, because they see it, and their media tells them about it. And we make fun of each other. We're always posting different memes about stuff, and if someone screws up, the other side always posts it there. But we're not being taken seriously by a lot of the country. And part of the reason that too is TikTok, because that's a Chinese company, and they're going to dance around that. But that algorithm is designed to make you hate your country. Pretty much the only country that does that, teaches our kids to hate ourselves. But that was an odd picture that I didn't care to see. But there he was, and then he left. And then who's making these calls? The missiles that I think they're long-range missiles, actually, that were 6 of them, were launched into Russia, which is bad. I might as well talk about that now, because you got 60 days left, and this is a lame duck presidency. It has been. They had a coup, for crying out loud, and that's not even talked about. The United States of America had a coup. Their candidate, who, by the way, was the most popular president in the history of the universe, 81 million votes. No one's reached that high. Probably never will again. 15 million people didn't vote this time. Wonder where they went. They're still counting votes in blue cities, blue states. That's kind of coincidental. A lot of Democrats win when they take 2 weeks to count votes. But who's making the calls? Because we're sending strike groups over to the Middle East, carriers, giving missiles to Ukraine. Secretary of State Blinken came out and was talking about how they continue to bolster all this support for Ukraine. And again, it's because they're defending democracy, or whatever they always say. What do you think's going on there? I mean, a lot of people are dying. A lot of people who don't want to be fighting are fighting and dying, and a lot of civilians get killed, and cities are destroyed. But there's something else going on there. It's not just Vladimir Putin's trying to steamroll through Europe. What's going on? Because I was in Ukraine in 1998. Got to work with the government there, and even back then, as a young man, a young Navy SEAL, I would have told you this is the most corrupt country in the world. One of them, at least. A lot of stuff gets funneled through there. A lot of people get rich based off of energy, based off of the military-industrial complex. A lot of energy in Ukraine, a lot of military potential there. We can build a lot of stuff. A lot of people get fat pockets because their friends in Congress allow that stuff to, and they push it. Why do Democrats want so much war in Ukraine? I mean, they're done. And Anthony Blinken is out there saying we're going to rush more aid to Ukraine. I think they gave him $8 billion more. Why again? You're just feeding these oligarchs. And his words were, every dollar we have at our disposal. How does that make you feel as a taxpayer? It's every dollar we have at our disposal will go to give missiles to Ukraine, but they want to stop funding Israel because it's almost like they're on the side of Hamas too. It doesn't seem like a lot of people in power have the best interests of the United States. I don't think anyway. We have a lot of stuff we could be doing here. A lot of homelessness here. A lot of homeless vets here. A lot of yachts in Ukraine. Not necessarily in Ukraine. A lot of Ukrainians, through your funding, are getting yachts, keeping them other places, buying property in Florida. That happens. A lot of jewelry purchased by Mrs. Zelensky when she visits New York. And you know, that I don't know if the amount she spends, I don't think you can afford that on the president of, well, you can now. Why is that? Well, because your tax dollars are going over there, and that's what's happening. But we're not, don't want to help Israel, and our universities are teaching their students, and a lot of our public schools are teaching their students that Israel's bad, they're occupiers, and free Palestine. You've heard them say that, from the river to the sea. Most people couldn't even name the river or the sea. I guarantee they couldn't find the West Bank or the Gaza Strip. But free Palestine, and they got a lot of groups that want to be on the side of Hamas. Hamas thinks they're hilarious. Hamas has said they listen to some of the stuff that happens here, and it cracks them up. That you can't do a lot of the stuff there. You can't do anything over there with the Palestinians that you think you can do here. Israel's free. You can be gay there. You can be transgender there in Israel. That's fine. Don't try that in the Palestinian sections of the Middle East, which could be great too. I mean, even like I wish we could figure some stuff out, because that could, if you haven't been to that part of the world where the Gaza Strip is, that could be some prime time beachfront property, man. Prime time tourism. The Mediterranean can be gorgeous. Don't swim where they're chumming with dead camels and slaughtered cows. Don't do that. There's a horrific video of a guy in a tiger shark he was there to eat. He ate. It's bad. But man, you could do some stuff with that if you just stop. Just stop. Stop what? What do you think? What's causing it? Why are they blowing themselves up? They made blowing themselves up popular even before 9/11. Suicide bombers were rocking and rolling over there. But is it education, you think? Maybe if you didn't teach your kids right away that Jewish people are pigs and they should have their heads cut off, like at the Sesame Street age, maybe if you'd stop teaching them that and start realizing like people will pay us to come here and use our beaches. Nah, not interested. I don't know why. A lot of countries catch on to that. Another one, going down to Turks and Caicos, man. That's just north of Haiti. Haiti could be a primetime resort. It's on the same island as the Dominican Republic. They won't even let people from Haiti in. But like that island, and it's big, tropical. If you're into the tropics, if you're into beautiful clean water and awesome marine life, scuba diving, snorkeling, could be done there. But it's not. And again, is it the education thing? Is it the indoctrination keeping people from opening beachfront resorts? I don't know, but we just, again, we seem to be we're funding places where people in our government are getting rich, and that's probably part of the reason. Don't you think they don't want Donald Trump in there, because he might expose it? That's definitely why they do not want Matt Gaetz to be the attorney general. And here's what to watch with that too. Watch the senior Republicans who are opposed to Matt Gaetz, because he will expose them. And I don't mean just Democrats. I mean people on even ethics committees. Ethics, by the way, is when you make sure people are being good little congressmen. A lot of rich people on the ethics committee, a lot of rich people on the energy committee, a lot of insider trading. And isn't it almost insulting when they say, oh, it's not me making the pick, it's my husband. My husband makes the picks. Wow, he makes better picks than Warren Buffett. How's that happen, Congresswoman? Congressman, does your wife do the picks for you? You make a lot of money. And Matt Gaetz is going to do, he's shaking a lot of things up there too. What are your thoughts on my friend Pete Hegseth is he's the nominee for the Secretary of Defense. And I like that pick. I like Pete. Pete's a very good friend. He's a great dude, very smart dude. I like him for a number of reasons. He played basketball in college at Princeton, and he was known to be the hardest working man they had, busting his butt to make the team, to get in the game. I've never played against him. I really want to play. I want to shoot hoops, at least free throws with Hegseth. But he's the nomination. He's been to Iraq. He's been to Afghanistan. He was an officer in the Army, infantry, combat infantry, 2 Bronze Stars. Worked down at Gitmo, so he's seen those scumbags face to face. And so the organizational skills. Just being a team player, having actual experience in the combat, being on the ground, knowing the men, all the way down to the E4 Mafia and even lower. And he's a mid-level officer. I think that not everyone that has been Secretary of Defense has been in the military, but he has, and he's mid-level, and he's not part of the swamp. He knows what the swamp is. He worked with the swamp, and he's dealt with it. He just wrote a great book, too, called War on the Warriors, which is awesome. And he's talking about how a lot of stuff in the military does need to be slimmed down, which I think it does. I mean, we need redundance in the military, but not that much redundance. We don't need an admiral on every single ship. The Pentagon was built for World War II, Department of War, and it's just like anything else in the government, it just stays where it is and keeps growing. It just keeps growing. Anytime anyone gets elected in the federal government, they make new programs. It's happening now. I mean, they're saying the new one, government efficiency, run by Elon Musk and Robert Kennedy Jr., it's only going to be around for maybe a year and a half, have they said? If the government can do that, if the government can make a department and make it efficient, and when the job's done, end it, that would be good. They don't do that. They keep expanding. It's just like NGOs. They keep expanding. They have their goal that they're marching for and getting a lot of funding for, but once they get their goal, they don't just go, well, guess we crack that egg and just close it down. No, they keep moving. They keep expanding. So we'll see with this. But the efficiency in the government would be great. I think the Pentagon has never passed an audit. Never. And they're missing billions of dollars. They got a huge budget. Never been right on it. And it might just trickle down to everyone saying, well, we got to spend every penny of our budget because next year we won't get that budget. And that's probably true. But what are you spending it on? And what do you do? What is it you do here? So that's a tough one, too, because obviously Good Old Boy Network, especially when you get to certain levels, certain flag officer levels, and you got your eyes on the prize being the Senate or working at one of the major contractors to find the time for you to get paid. You know, you can fire generals, though. It's the tougher ones are going to be the civilians that work. A lot of civilians in the government, and they're tough to get rid of, too. They're the people that they go to lunch as soon as it's lunch break. They leave at quitting time. And they don't really care how good of their job they do because the money just comes in from the taxpayer. It's not like they're producing something and they're trying to sell it. It's not like a mom and pop restaurant where they really do care about how good the Italian sub we just made you is, because we made it with our heart. This is our dream and our passion, as opposed to the dude who's just cranking out Subways. He's going home when he goes home. The people with the restaurant, they care. So, you get that attitude with government employees. So anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent there, but I think Pete's a good call just because he's not part of the swamp, but he wants to go in and clean it out. If you read his book, he does describe what he wants to do. Naturally, the media is doing what they do. They're just trying to destroy him, like they do with everyone. Every nominee, they destroy them. They try to ruin their lives, the left, every single time. Back that I can remember, Supreme Court hearings always we've seen those recently. We've seen, I think, Robert Bork, he didn't even make it. We've seen we've seen bad stuff there. Remember Christine Blasey Ford? Yeah, she's not around, but 30 years ago at a party, you grabbed my ass. So they're going to hit you with white supremacists and rape. And you're a rapist or you're a sexual assaulter or you're a white supremacist or a Nazi. And they're going to keep attacking and attacking and attacking. And I've gotten hate before. And it's not cool. It's not fun. Especially if you know they're lying, which I've seen a lot of. But I'm not just me. I've seen it with other people. Other veterans in the spotlight get a lot of hate too. And Pete's he's going to get a lot more because he's up for a position of power, of extreme power. Being the Secretary of Defense is a big deal. I think he'll get confirmed. I hope he gets confirmed. He's a great guy. I think he's a perfect guy for the job, and I've been saying that for a while. So that's my thoughts on the whole Pentagon thing right there. And hopefully he gets in. I want to see Gates get in because I think we need to change. I think taxes are way too high. I think taxation is theft. We managed to have roads, major railroads and infrastructure and stuff before income tax. And I don't think income tax pays for that crap now, but it pays for somebody. So a little government shake-up. I mean, if you don't like paying taxes like that too, we can get to the tariffs later. I don't feel like talking about that today. What Donald Trump's going to do. It's always, of course, naturally, they're going to be yelling tax cuts for your wealthy buddies. I don't think it works that way. I don't think Reagan thought it worked that way either. But yeah, we'll see what happens with those appointments. But I know some of this can bum you out. I'm not trying to do that. I know a good way to stay happy and not depressed, other than not staring at social media all day, is get outside. Get up, get out of bed. Don't sit in bed. Be depressed. Get outside. Get to the gym, get a workout, do something. I like just a good walk, man. Get outside and get a little stretchy going on there. Hit the gym if you can. I know a lot of listeners work out. I want to tell you about True Nutrition though, and listen up. Have you ever dreamed of designing your own protein powder, your own greens powder, like exactly the way you like it? Today's sponsor, True Nutrition, actually lets you do that. True Nutrition was founded on relentlessly sourcing the highest quality ingredients. A third party tests these ingredients, and the first party brings them back to ensure its purity. And then, with those ingredients, they let you do the designing yourself. I think you can even name your own. But True Nutrition is not a one-size-fits-all. It's a sports nutrition designed by you, specifically for you. You can make any protein or greens powder combination you want. Then you can give it a boost if you want. Like I said, a custom name if you want to. And you can actually see the nutrition stuff adjust to your liking in real time. You can see what you're going to be getting. You can have a post-workout drinks too, a breakfast shake, an overnight formula. These are the highest quality products by using only raw ingredients from trusted sources, and they're seriously held by the highest standards. I love the website. Go in there, pick your own stuff. They've completely changed the game in protein. They have a wide range of pure substances and supplements, from creatine monohydrate powder to their essential amino acids. And you can have peace of mind knowing all their products seriously come from the highest quality ingredients possible. I got the protein isolate cold filtration. I picked strawberry and banana shake for my sweet tooth. I got a French vanilla meal replacement, custom greens in a banana smoothie, and I got oatmeal. That you make your own oatmeal and you put in I put blueberry muffin mix again because it's sweet. They got the Irish cut oats, organic freeze-dried blueberries, strawberries, organic banana chips. It's a huge electrolyte boost for all you people that get little crampersons. So for a limited time, and go check this out if you work out. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their entire order when you use code THEOPERATOR at checkout at TrueNutrition.com. That's 15% off your order at TrueNutrition.com with promo code THEOPERATOR. You can take the guesswork out of your nutrition with True Nutrition. Seriously, go in there, invent your own stuff, name your own stuff, and then kick some butt. TrueNutrition.com. Code THEOPERATOR will get you 15% off the best protein you'll ever try. Yeah, but what's going to happen in the next 60 days? Because they can run amok. They did. The Democrats forced out President Biden. Not out. They forced him away, not to be the nominee, because they said he's not competent to run the country. You can tell. We knew. Everybody knew. They just tried to lie to you the whole time and push him through. And the debate obviously saw that, but then they had a coup, put Kamala Harris there, who I think was this was my theory about that, though. I think that the people actually in charge of the Democrat Party and the deep state, I think that they had a decision about, well, first they had to get Biden out. So what do they have on him? Are they going to pardon Hunter, or are they not going to expose stuff they already know? Because he's been in there a long time, and they definitely know a lot of stuff, and Democrats aren't afraid to eat their own. It's like like a pack of wolves. When one gets hurt, they'll eat them. And that's what Democrats did to Joe Biden. But I think what they did is they realized they're not going to beat Trump because of a combination of things, but just how obvious it was that most of the country wanted him. They're not going to be able to cheat their way through this one. So what I think they probably did is put, because you have to admit the Harris-Walz ticket was not strong. And Tim Walz, he was out of his element, I think. And I don't know the guy. A lot of gaffes, but I think what the Democrats did on purpose is they wanted to lose this one big so that they can maybe pull their base back a little bit to the center. And that's kind of what they're trying to do now. They're saying they're trying to do it now. They always talk about peaceful transfer of power, but launching missiles into Russia just over 60 days from leaving office is not a peaceful transfer of power. That's trying to make chaos. And there are people behind the scenes too. There used to be the Obama administration. I think George Soros is really involved in the deep state, definitely anti-Trump. And then you've got calls now for there are people in Congress right now that want to make a shadow. They're calling it a shadow cabinet, if that makes any sense. Representative Wiley Nichols, am I saying it Wiley Nichols? Or Willie Nichols, I'd say it's Wiley Nichols. Anyways, Democrat from North Carolina, and he wants to come up with he's calling it a shadow cabinet, which basically he wants to get a Democrat, a high-ranking Democrat in every cabinet space to mirror them. So he's got a list of people that he wants to put in there, and they're Democrats you've probably heard of. They're going to go through and mirror the leader of that specific category too, and oppose them at every level. He's saying that the key to it, they always throw democracy as having counter arguments, and that might be true. They love to say we have a democracy. We don't. We're a constitutional republic, but they don't care because they know they can say save democracy, and a lot of people are going to buy that crap and vote for them. But in a constitutional republic, because he says they do it in England. There's a shadow cabinet, but the government in the UK is different. They're parliamentary. And ours is set up different, and we have a constitution. I'm not sure this is constitutional, but already, not even in office, you're seeing how they're trying to undermine anything Donald Trump does. And they're saying, well, because we want to counter their Project 2025 vision, which Donald Trump wasn't even a part of. But also, you've noticed they'll throw that out everywhere. I haven't even read the entire thing, too. I'm sure I'll agree with some, disagree with some. But they're throwing that out there, scaring you, saying they're probably still saying he's going to start World War III. I mean, which has happened. 6 missiles just launched 70 miles into Russia. That's, again, not a peaceful transfer of power. Vladimir Putin recently just updated one of their doctrines, saying that if a non-nuclear nation attacks inside of Russia, but with the backing of a nuclear nation, which is us, they'll consider that a joint attack. So that's a red line. And he updated this doctrine he just signed a couple days ago, saying the use for nuclear weapons, because of these certain red lines. And now we've crossed them again, because for some reason we told the Ukraine to launch missiles into Russia, which they did. And so now the thing about Vladimir Putin now is, I mean, there's been calls for peace. After Trump got elected, even Zelensky was saying he wanted to work on a peace deal. So did Putin. But now Biden's launching missiles in there. And I don't know what kind of who would do that? It really shows you how much they care about you. This administration, the deep state, cares about you. I will start World War III just because I don't like that what happened in November, and it's a very dangerous place to be. And President Biden just authorized anti-personnel landmines now, which there was a treaty in 1997, trying to ban all landmines. And I don't think we said we would ban all landmines, but they're not good. I know we couldn't use them. They wouldn't let us use them. We had to stay behind landmine in case you're getting chased by somebody or pursued, or you're trying to hold a perimeter. And they would actually self-destruct after an amount of time. But still, what if someone's standing there when they self-destruct? We stopped carrying those too. We didn't carry any mines. I don't think we use any mines. We haven't done it in a while. Because landmines are bad. And they're saying, well, these are new smart landmines. They'll blow up eventually. Is that what it means? Or will they just not be live and just an explosive sitting under the ground? Because their landmines are not, they're indiscriminate. And they're permanent. You step on one, it's going to be a bad day. I know a lot of guys have been blown up by IEDs. And this is essentially, it's not really an improvised explosive device. It's just a manufactured explosive device. But yeah, they authorized landmines. I've never heard of that, but check it out. You can look it up, man. You don't need to take my word for it, but they are. And then there's other stuff going around too, and you got to wonder why. Did you know that there were telecom cables, 2 of them, that have been cut in the last few days? Cut between Finland and Germany. There was a telecom line between Finland and Germany. Got cut. Why would they do that? I don't know if you know this, you might, but during World War II, Finland was actually part of the Axis powers because they don't like the Russians. They kind of held their own to a stalemate in Finland. They did some really good fighting. They know how to fight up there. But so the telecom line between Finland and Germany was cut. Also, a telecom line between Sweden and Lithuania was cut. Sweden was part of the Allies, and Lithuania was part of the Soviet Union. Cut those ties. Who's doing it? Well, they're not saying China, but one of their submarines, I think it was called Yipang, a submarine that happened to go over the top of these telecommunication lines and cut them. They were cut right after they went over the top, so that's what they're saying right now. Why is China doing that, and why is China almost trying to see if they can get the old Axis and Allies back together? What's their interest? Why are they up there? But that's bad stuff happening. And then we are launching missiles now, putting landmines down. The thing with Vladimir Putin, the issue is he is losing credibility. With his people were just attacked by American-made missiles that launched out of Ukraine 70 miles in. I haven't seen the results of what happened, but that's an attack. Eventually, I mean, that's like us getting attacked from one of our borders. If someone launched on us from Canada and hit Butte, Montana, it's a little more than 70 miles away from the border, but what would our response be? How are we going to defend ourselves? What would the American people's response be if the United States got hit from a neighboring country backed by a foreign nuclear power? Well, you'd be up in arms. You'd be yelling at the president, yelling at the administration. Why don't we do something? Do something back. Well, that's going to be happening to Putin. And we're not only allowing it to happen, we're encouraging it to happen. Here's some missiles. Launch them. We said we'd never give them tanks. We did. We said we'd never give them jets. We did. Long-range missiles. We did. Launched them. Landmines. What next? What else is there? What haven't we given them? Nuclear weapons. This is very scary. Vladimir Putin, when I read his book, long-ass book, but when he was growing up, he grew up a pretty tough life. In Russia in the winter is not that fun, even if you're in a city. But one of the things he would do is one of the games that they would play is chasing rats, wild rats. I don't think there's not a lot of tame rats. Chasing rats with sticks and like beating them. That's a game you're playing in Russia because there's nothing else to do. Tells you got a pretty hard childhood, which means he's a pretty hard man. But chasing around rats and hitting them with sticks. He mentions a story where he actually cornered a rat, and the rat didn't have a choice, did he? So the rat fought back. I don't know if he got bit or not, but it scared him. But Vladimir Putin specifically mentions that you don't want to mess with a cornered rat. Well, what happens with the president of Russia? I mean, he's obviously not a humanitarian. He's been very aggressive towards the neighbors. He wants the Soviet Union back. He's probably a narcissist or a psycho or at least a sociopath. He loves power. He's always been in power. KGB guy, always been in power since forever. And he likes that power, and he doesn't like to be called a wimp. He barely likes to stand next to people because he's kind of short, doesn't like that. But his people, all of a sudden, if they're up in arms and he has every right to use every weapon at his disposal, what do you think he's going to do? I mean, they're saying he might use a tactical nuke. That's bad because one gets launched, a bunch get launched, and you don't want to see that. If countries start launching missiles, nuclear weapons at each other, it could end really quickly for everyone. It's going to affect everyone. So keep in mind, don't be afraid to call your Congress people or senators. This is lame duck area now, so who's going to listen? A lot of them probably lost. So, but we do have a good record of putting incumbents back in there. We bitch about how everything's screwed up, but we put the incumbents back in there. I'm just saying you got to watch out for Vladimir Putin because he's on headlines every single day, and what a madman he is. But his people start saying you got to defend yourself, and nukes come out. That's going to be a bad, bad day. But again, just questionable decisions. And I think a lot of the decisions that have been made lately, even some of the crap that's come out in the past, especially since 2020, that we were sort of forced to think was okay, and a lot of us tried to, but you start to realize that a lot of this is stupid. I'm not going to get into every single issue, but I think you know what I mean. And just bad decisions. Another bad decision. They just took a poll, the Democratic Party. I don't know which poll it was, but they said that you know who's leading the charge for 2028? As far as the next nominee, Kamala Harris, by a sizable amount. She just got crushed. Bad decision. I don't think she's going to get it, but they took a poll somewhere. I got to find the poll. I just remember hearing about it. But she's leading the charge right now to be the next nominee. She's still the vice president of the United States. I haven't seen her in a while, but she's there. And I don't want to get all doom and gloom. If we're all alive next. After Thanksgiving, I'll explain nuclear winter again. I've done it before a number of podcasts ago, but I'm not going to get into it today again for just reasons of going down a bad rabbit hole. And it is Thanksgiving next week. I won't be doing a show next week. I'm going to be out and about. Maybe get some highlights up or something. I'm sure we'll figure it out. But instead of getting gloomy and doomy, this will be fun. I want to go over some events in history on this day, which is November 20th, just to go back in time. Because I think I know other people have said that if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. On this day, in 1521, a long time ago, Arabs attributed the shortage of water in Jerusalem to Jews making wine. So I guess there were Jewish people there in Jerusalem before the state of Israel. I guess they've been there for a long time. So occupiers, you be the judge. I took interesting facts, and a lot of them came up to be the same thing. In 1829, on November 20th, Jews were expelled from Nikolaev and Sevastopol in Russia. So they're getting expelled back in 1829. That's happened quite a bit. Oppressed. Then the next one. I'm not picking on anyone here. I'm just saying this is all November 20th. The first documented, and this is in 1938, the first documented anti-Semitic remarks over U.S. radio by a priest, by Father Coughlin, it says. Just spouting out hate. Again, Jewish people getting hated on. In 1914, on this day, the U.S. State Department requires photographs for passports. Oh, good. So we had photographs back then. And people in 1914 were capable enough of getting an ID. Nowadays, come on. Some people can't get IDs. No. Everyone has ID. It's just a matter of what Democrats say. Because what does it come back to again? Personal power and voting. And I wasn't making that up when I went to vote in New York. Dude was out there yelling, no IDs, specifically no IDs. People don't believe me. I saw it. I didn't know what to think either, but yeah, just go in there and vote. On this day, fitting, November 20th, 1917, Ukrainian Republic is declared. 1917, so that'll be good. There won't be any fighting anymore because the Ukrainian Republic was declared 1917. In 1940, this is World War II time now. Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia joined the Axis powers. And I don't know if you know this. Those were that was the last time we declared war, including Korea and Vietnam and Grenada and Panama and Desert Storm and the desert. The other Iraqi freedom is what we called it. Then enduring freedom. Didn't declare war on anybody. But those are the last three countries we ever declared war on. Was Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia, 1940 there. In 1949, on this day, the Jewish population of Israel reaches 1 million. So Israel's now around. There are Jewish people back there again, as they have been since, Abraham. On this day in 1962, the USSR agrees to remove remaining Ilyushin Tu-28 bomber jets from Cuba. That lifts the blockade. So even in 1962, you might remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, that kind of thing. That's back when they would do... I wasn't alive then. You might not have been either, but I think when I was going to McKinley Elementary School in Butte, Montana, we were still doing duck and cover drills because in our brilliance... I mean, do you think the government lies to you all the time, or do you think ducking under your wooden desk in your third grade classroom would stop a nuclear weapon? Duck and cover is what they put up. But anyway, the blockade lifted on this day. In 1983, on this day, 100 million people watched the ABC TV movie The Day After. The day after what? A nuclear war. That traumatized me. I was alive. I think I was 7 years old. I remember watching that at 601 West Diamond in Butte, Montana. I'll never forget someone saying those are Minuteman missiles being launched, and then we get hit, and it's a very depressing movie. People didn't like nuclear war back then, especially the day after that movie, but we're pushing for it now. On November 20th, 1997, Iraq's Revolution Command Council formally endorses an agreement arranged by Russia that enables UN weapons inspection teams to resume operations in Iraq. What were they looking for? Weapons of mass destruction. WMDs, man. They'd been used. 1997. The Bush administration wasn't there. Dick Cheney wasn't the vice president yet. So they had a couple years to figure out how to invade Iraq, because you know it's coming. On this day in 1998, courts in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan, which is amazing that they're back in control now. We fought a 20-year war there, but just a couple years after this. But in 1998, on November 20th, a court in Afghanistan accused terrorists by the name of Osama bin Laden, a man without a sin. And this is in regard to the 1998 embassy bombings in Africa, Kenya, and Tanzania, where they killed a lot of people. But they said he's a man without a sin, so they're harboring Osama bin Laden. So he left Sudan. Now he's in Afghanistan, 1998, just a few years before the big attack. But back then, on this day, Osama bin Laden, a man without a sin, according to the Taliban. And most importantly, today, November 20th, Joe Biden turns 82. So he is the oldest president in office. You've seen him. We saw him. We talked about the conference where he wandered off and got in the back of the picture. But he's 82 today, proving that no matter your age, you're never out of the fight.